Welcome, everyone. I'm Marikita Solis, the live stream host of all-creatures.org. All-creatures.org was founded in 1998 by Pastor Frank Hoffman and his first wife, Mary, and launched as the pioneer website in the United States for faith-based animal rights veganism. Today, led by our executive director, Tams Nicholson, we exist for all people seeking current animal rights vegan resources and offer decades of free animal rights and vegan content, including a huge repository of vegan sermons, Bible commentaries, animal rights strategies, free vegan authored books, recipes, upcoming events around the world, and the works of various vegan authors, poets, and artists. We also host current sites for almost 20 vegan and animal rights organizations, including Stop Crush, Unparalleled Suffering, and the Committee to Abolish Sports Hunting. We also maintain nearly 25 archival sites from animal rights vegan activism of past decades. The bottom line is that we work to unite compassionate and empathetic humans across the globe from the past and the present who honor the dignity of each and every creature so that all beings thrive on a flourishing planet Earth. So I'm excited today to welcome my good friend, the visionary artist Tes Kempner. Tes is a passionate, embodied vegan peace ambassador, and I had the wonderful pleasure of meeting her I think last year. She's an advocate, an entertainer, a keynote artist, a keynote concert artist who inspires audiences with her captivating sound, presence, and impactful words of consciousness and liberation. As the daughter of two Nazi Holocaust survivors, she's deeply influenced by her heritage mandate of Tikkun Olam to heal and add beauty to the world, and sees clearly the correlation between man's inhumanity to man, the planet, and to his fellow creatures. She's an old soul wisdom teacher, and wisdom keeper and teacher, provocative emissary for global peace, and amongst her many projects is the founder of the Universal Temple of Expanding Consciousness, vegan musicians' resident community sanctuary and event space, currently seeking its next home. Incarnation also. 6 million Candles concert at Auschwitz, a world healing music tour, the Slow Queen and Slow King's nervous system reset retreat, and most recently, 52-week podcast called Voices of the Global Awakening. So that's a mouthful because you have really done a lot, Tess. So thank you for joining, and everyone who's watching, make sure to hit like and subscribe and let us know where you're joining from, because we're here for you, and we're going to get a lot of wonderful wisdom here from Tess today. She's the old soul, the wisdom keeper. So welcome, Tess.
I'm also a triple Gemini, so I've got a committee of 6 in here that all have something to say, and getting them into alignment with each other is my daily activity.
Wonderful. Well, get in line, everybody. Here we go.
Yeah. I'm very happy to be here with you. It's a pleasure.
Well,
and I was kind of excited when I heard you say, like, the purpose of the organization is that it's a faith-based animal rights organization. That really was exciting to me, because it does feel like a moral and ethical decision to be kind to all creatures, right? It's a level of consciousness that if we want to be in alignment with our creator, we want to do unto others, which includes the animal kingdom and the planet.
Right, exactly. And personally, I believe we all need faith. We all need something higher than ourselves. And maybe we don't. I mean, I don't know. That's what I believe. For me, I function better when I know that there is a higher being that has put me here, that is, that loves me deeply. So, this is my faith, and that all is well. Now, sometimes we'll probably talk about this. The all is well part can be a little hard, to accept. But here we are in a new year. So let me start off by saying all is well. And we're going to hold the sacred space, Tess and I. So.
everything is in divine disorder, as a friend of mine likes to say. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. Right. Yes.
All right. Well, let's hear a little bit about your vegan story, Tess. When did you become a vegan and what led you to make the transition?
Well, I would say about 30 years ago, I got together with my now husband, and and I had had digestive issues my whole life. Like I would only eliminate like once or twice a week, and I just thought that was the way my body was. And when he heard about it, he was appalled because his mother had had like 4 feet of her colon removed, and he said, we have to address this and fix it right away. And I had a cousin who had been on this digestive cleanse called Cleanse and Purify Thyself by Dr. Richard Anderson. And and so I did this digestive cleanse. It was a 17-day process with the intention of going back to eating meat. But there was this book that accompanied it, that was like a mandatory thing to read the book so you would understand why you were doing what you were doing and the value of it. And in it, he was describing the consciousness of the animals, and that like that they're standing in the queue and the slaughterhouse, and they're hearing the screams and the cries of their fellow creatures, and they know what was coming. And so it was like their rage and their grief and the contraction in the musculature goes into our bodies when we ingest it. So when I came off of the cleanse, the first time I tried eating meat again, it's like when your system is clean, you can feel the difference to when you're anesthetized to it and you don't really are connected to your body. So that was the end of red meat for me. And so it became a systematic process, maybe over a 10 or so year period. Of first, I eliminated red meat, and then poultry, and then fish, and then eggs, and then ultimately dairy. And so now I have been vegan probably for about 15 years or so. And and what started as a health thing, to became a moral and ethical thing, because the more refined the system, the more sensitive we are to what's going on. And so my empathy like skyrocketed the cleaner I got.
That's beautiful. I love that because you are putting something different into your body, a peacefulness that wasn't there before. So that would just ripple out to every cell. Peace, peace, peace. So that's beautiful.
Yeah, I've also heard it said that like if we want to like stand a chance of stepping into our potential for immortality, that we have to remove ourselves from the food chain. So death begets death, and life begets life. So if we're eating dead things and we're taking the life of another creature, then we have to surrender our life for, back to the soil, to fertilize for other creatures to feed off of. But if we want to, claim our potential to be here forever, if you believe that's possible, so that we have to not participate in that cycle.
Right.
Hmm.
Well, yes, and it's a journey for everyone. So
Hmm.
I love that you said 15 years.
At least
Yeah.
15 years. I lost track about it. Yeah.
Well,
Hmm.
when you first went vegan, did you have friends or family to support you?
No.
How was that?
Lonely. I mean, in a way, it's kind of still lonely for the most part. It's like um, I have to partition a certain portion of my psyche in order to continue to socialize with people that are not like sharing my values and my belief system. If I want to maintain relationships, I actually just had a New Year's Eve party, and in the invitation I specifically said vegan in capital letters, a potluck. And I had a friend come in and she's like, I brought eggnog. And I said, is it vegan? She's like, eggnog, vegan? And I'm like, well, they make coconut milk based and almond milk based. And she's like, no. And I said, well, I'm sorry, it's a vegan event. She's like, well, that's okay. We'll just drink it. And I'm like, no, I'm really strict. You can't have that in my house. And she's like, well, I brought banana bread, and I know Trader Joe's makes a vegan banana bread, but it wasn't that. And I'm like, I'm really sorry. And I could feel like they felt so confronted by my boundary. But I feel like when I'm out in the world, I have to, like I say, make a decision. Am I going to go into a restaurant that serves animal products, just because or go to somebody's house that is not vegan? But in my own home, it's like my nervous system wants there to be no animal products in the field. And so it's definitely tricky business. Yeah,
Well, I love that you talked about boundaries because that's a big thing for a lot of vegans and a lot of people in their lives. How to establish boundaries without being disrespectful, because a lot of times people feel like it's an attack. In fact, someone said to me the other day that I was trying to control them, and it's not about control. It's about you speaking up for yourself. I mean, we all have a right to speak up for ourselves, and wow, that is so powerful when we can do that in a peaceful way, because veganism is about peace.
it is about peace, and yet it's funny because there is this Facebook group called Dystopia. We were talking about that before, and it's really like dystopian. It's like really about the um, dissonance between the vegan consciousness and the mass consciousness, and the struggle that we all feel. And I don't want to use the language that was in the meme exactly, because it was kind of an expletive, but it's like I went vegan for love, and now I hate everyone, and it is a painful struggle that we all face, is how to honor and respect where everyone is, and to trust that um, all is well on earth as it is in heaven, no matter what we see on the world stage, even if it is challenging to our own belief system, that the people that are still eating meat are still exactly as God would have them be, and it's like not necessarily for us to try to control it. It's for us to embody and represent based on our own values, but not try to impose them on anybody else. Very tricky.
It's like walking a tightrope, definitely, of trying not to offend, but also saying this is what I believe in. And when you hear a joke, I mean, how to navigate a joke, I mean, which is not funny, a certain
Right.
thing, how to navigate these issues. And I mean, it's something that I have to work on every day. I mean, being able to um, be at peace with myself, and to really understand that I'm only responsible for myself, and to allow other people to be responsible for themselves. And that's what I was hearing that you were saying, as everyone is on, in their place at this time, the right place.
Yeah, and we also have to be willing to let people go. It's like to thine own self be true. So our commitment to our own values has to supersede our attachment to anybody in our life, which is also scary and painful. But ultimately, we have to live with ourselves. So we have to be true to our own values, and either um, people can accept and respect where we are. I mean, the people in my life that say to me, like if we're at a restaurant together, are you okay with me ordering meat, or would you prefer for me to order vegan? Well, I really appreciate that they're respecting me enough to offer that to me. It used to be where I would say, that's between you and God, and you're responsible for your own conscience. But then I decided, you know what? If they're being gracious enough to give me the option, then I need to be true to myself and say I will be much more comfortable if you would order vegan today, you know, and so that's kind of a way to influence in a gentle way without, you know, forcing it on people.
Yeah, that is wonderful. And I do have a friend that eats vegan for with me every time when we do go out, and so I really appreciate that.
Mhm.
I mean, that's those are the small things that really make a difference. And
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
and not to say, oh, you don't have to do that, but no, but thank you. How nice of you. How nice.
Yeah, because it's not for you, it's for the animals. It's not, it's like you're not doing it for me. You know, that's one less animal being killed today, you know. And I believe that we vote with our dollars. So it's like as long as people are spending their money in that direction, there's going to continue to be slaughter and factory farming and all this kind of stuff because the public is saying, yes, I want this, you know.
Right, definitely. You're right. We vote with our dollars. Everybody that's watching, let us know where you're watching from. And also, if you have any questions, please put your questions up because we'd like to answer those and we'll save time at the end. Um, so, Tess, I know that you've had some hard times in your life, and I know you are very connected to the spiritual world, to the natural world. What has gotten you through the times that you've been struggling? Um, what could you recommend to someone that's really struggling and not knowing what to do?
And you're speaking specifically about being vegan, or is it
Well, vegan, yeah. I mean, it's hard and with despair. I mean, how do you go about it if you can't get out of bed or you're crying, you feel so alone? Who is there for you? I mean, how? I don't know. I mean, I know what I would say, but what would you say?
well, I mean, really, developing a strong spiritual practice so that like you mentioned that one of my offerings is the slow queen or the slow king nervous system reset retreat, and I feel that most of our challenges are related to we've been introduced to this man-made contrivance of time, the clock and the calendar, and time is money, and we have to get ahead and we can't fall behind and we want to make our mark, and so all these things create this ongoing stress inside of us where there's no peace, and that's where we're disconnected from what I describe as the pace of grace. And so I encourage people to downshift and disconnect from the clock and the calendar and find peace in the eternal present. And one of my practices is to um, go out, and this is what helped me to heal my what's described as epigenetic PTSD, which is inherited, you know, through the DNA of my parents, is to um, uh, co-regulate to the body of the mother. So literally to go outdoors and sit on the ground or lie on the ground, put my hands on the earth so that I can recalibrate my nervous system to the peace in the body of the mother. You know, so it's like I've cultivated this practice of I always, even right now, as you and I are having this conversation, there's a little percentage of my consciousness that is aware of my feet on the ground, that's aware of my butt in my seat. And it's like I'm always making contact with the body of the mother, with the mater, the material plane. There's never a moment where I am not feeling 100% supported on the physical by the material plane. Even if I were like doing yoga and doing a mudra and having two fingers together, I'm grounding myself by my connection to the physical plane. And I'm also aware of the constant supply of prana, life force, energy through the breath, and that is the Father. So, Father, Mother, God, physical and non physical, are supporting me every moment of my existence. Nobody can take that away from me. I can surrender that if I forget about it and I can feel lost like disconnected, but this is my spiritual reality check that I'm always 100% supported, and so I offer that as a way for people to go, okay, I'm actually not alone. I'm actually provided for. I'm actually taken care of. No matter what things look like on the world stage, all is actually always well. So yeah.
Yeah, I love what you're saying. I mean, about the connection to the mother and mother. I think we've lost that connection. I mean, of grounding, touching the earth. Um, I mean, a lot of us don't even go outside I mean, we might go out to get in our car and drive and go to the store, but really to be present in the outside air, to breathe the air, and to be in the in this capacity of gratitude, because that's what it sounds like you're living in, of this gratitude of life, of the life force energy, as you are talking, that it's not an autopilot where, I mean, it's an autopilot that serves you, an autopilot that is running on. I'm aware of, of my connection to everything in this world.
Well, it's a practice that has become autopilot. In the
Right.
in the beginning, I had to keep reminding myself to connect to that because it is always here for us, and our society is not supporting us functioning at the pace of grace. We have to have enough self-respect to disconnect from those programs that are wanting to keep us off balance and give ourselves permission to. There's nothing more important than that I feel grounded and connected because I can't function otherwise in any empowered sort of way.
Yes, and people are struggling with so many diseases and so much anxiety and prescription drug use, and it's very normal, typical for people to be on so many drugs, and it's very sad. It in this rat race that we're living in, who can keep up? And it's going to come out in one way or the other out of our bodies. This running, running, running nonstop.
Well, the empowerment is to realize that we don't have to keep up. That's an illusion that we have been programmed into this, like, oh, I need recognition, and I need acknowledgement, and I need to climb the ladder, and it's crazy making because it keeps us from our peace. So having the courage to disconnect from all of that and go, okay, I need to be in alignment, body, mind, spirit, and so I need to be connected to my breath, and I need to be connected to my awareness of my feet on the ground, and that I'm here in this body, in this dimension, and that overarching intelligence that animates me, that breathes life into me, and keeps me here is taking care of me. It's supporting me. So I can relax into that because it's our stress that impedes the flow of goodness that is naturally ours. It provides for us anyway, but it makes it harder if we're stressed out and we're like, driven by the clock.
Right, exactly, you're right, it does, and it is a choice, I mean, and you can change your programming, like you were saying, the autopilot can work for you once you start to be aware of it, and once you reprogram it with mindfulness and catching yourself and
Hmm.
really being aware, we can change those programs to benefit ourselves.
Right, right, for sure.
Well, tell me about, I mean, I know you do many things. So let's talk a little bit about what you've done before 2025.
Okay, well, the biggest last thing I did was a full year of a live stream called Voices of the Global Awakening, and having conversations like this, and and introducing these one-on-one retreats that I was having with people. And I've been looking for a new home for. I created an intentional community about 20 years ago called the Universal Temple of, at that time, was the higher consciousness, and I've renamed it to Expanding Consciousness because I wanted to take out that righteous hierarchical kind of an attitude for a bit. But I feel that living in community is a really healthy thing to do, and because it helps us to evolve more quickly when we have mirrors. When we're alone, we have blind spots. We don't necessarily see what those are. But when we are living in an intentional community and we are declaring everyone in our community as an evolutionary ally, and they are there to support us in seeing our blind spots so that we can transcend them, then we can evolve so much more quickly. So I'm looking for a new location, and I really want to live with other vegans, specifically musicians, so that we can create events and offerings together. So,
Well, yes, I'd love to do that too, as well. In fact, I have some friends from Climate Healers, and we talk about that living in a community like that and how
mhm,
amazing that would
mhm.
be. So, what about your music, Tess? And I am part of the Earth Care Ministry at Unity North over here in Atlanta, Unity North Atlanta, and we have a monthly full moon circle, and we play some of your music, and we love it. I'm so excited.
I almost started crying when you sent me that video, and yeah, that really touched me a lot. That makes me really happy. So yeah, as you mentioned, I'm the daughter of two Auschwitz survivors, and when I was a little girl, um, back in those years, people didn't believe if you were sane that you would go for any kind of psychotherapy. And so my mother didn't have a way to process all the unfathomable grief of man's inhumanity in her experience. And unfortunately, she would use me, a little 3, 4, 5-year-old girl, as the repository for her need to empty. And so I would have horrific nightmares in the middle of the night about Nazi stormtroopers and gas chambers and cattle cars and electrified barbed wire fences and stuff. And so I would sing in the middle of the night at the top of my lungs to push the demons away. I would sing big songs like The Impossible Dream and My Way and You'll Never Walk Alone and all that kind of stuff. And so that, was the beginning of me being a singer. And one of the things that was told to me, unfortunately, was that I was born to make up for everything that my parents had been through, like no pressure. So I spent most of my life trying to figure out what to do to make up for my entire family, 6 million Jews, 12 million people. And I had this idea of restoring world harmony through the healing power of music by staging a commemorative peace concert from the site of the former death camp at Auschwitz, where both my parents had been inmates, basically. And 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 when I conceived that project, that is what birthed me as a songwriter. So that was back in like 1990. So I'd been singing since I was like 3 years old, and singing in synagogue and in school choir and all that kind of stuff. But really, this project, I had a meeting with Steven Spielberg's organization, and they were like, well, what is the music? What kind of music is appropriate for a mass grave site? And I couldn't just say, trust me, I'm the daughter of Holocaust survivors. I know what the tone of this event should feel like. And I came home and I said, okay, God, what is the music? And literally this channel like opened up in my crown. And in 20 minutes, the first song came out, followed by another 13, exploring themes of war, hatred, and world peace from the perspective of a child of war. And that was the beginning. And now I've written well over 100 songs. And it's just healing and cathartic for me. And I feel like I have a gift. And I think that music um, is a powerful carrier wave to bypass the intellect and to speak directly to people's hearts and shift consciousness. So it's kind of like I feel like I'm an undercover agent for the Lord, and my package is sort of mainstream and accessible and relatable, but the messages are of consciousness and the tones are moving the heartstrings. So
That's amazing. I love that story. And what a I mean, what a lot of what a heavy load for a little girl, and but for you able to free yourself through music is beautiful. I mean, it sounds like the the spirits were there, walking with you there, and showing you how to break free from your chains, to take some of that heaviness off, and to sing from your heart and your throat chakra open. I love it.
yeah, thank you. I have a lyric in one of my songs is, "I am the daughter of atrocity. 6 million ghosts demand a piece of me." Yeah. So yeah, there is definitely this feeling that, like, if that it took all of these souls that didn't get to express themselves to, like, create a pressure, an internal pressure inside of me. And I feel like when I'm writing songs that I'm, like, tuning into, like, I'm just a scribe for a consciousness to, it's like, what is the message that you want delivered into this earth plane? And I'm a vessel for that to come through, and I feel, you know humbly honored to get to do that.
That's beautiful. Well, I mean, I can't even imagine how many intimate experiences you have had with Mother Earth. What can you name one of your, or tell us about one of your most profound experiences? Because sometimes I do ask people, when did you feel most connected with Mother Earth? And many people say, I never have. But that's the beginning of an exploration for that person. So I'd like to ask you that, what has been a very connected experience with Mother Earth that you cherish in your heart?
Well, I think it's what I was already starting to describe. It's that the more sensitive that I have become through my digestive system becoming more refined in the vegan journey, the more aware I am of nature and the earth and the creatures. And so when I was a little girl, my hands would shake so much. And my father noticed it, and he literally took a ruler and put it across the top of my hand to see how the ruler would shake on top of my hand. So when I had this inspiration to go to the earth and literally just lay down on it, or literally just put my hands on it and close my eyes and recalibrate my nervous system to, oh, this is what peace feels like, because I didn't have peace in my body. And I found peace through putting my hands on the earth. And so that became a practice for me. And so now it's like we're all nature, we're all part of nature. And to, like, unplug from the matrix and realign ourselves with nature, that's where the healing occurs. That's where we can feel safe, because we realize we're being supported, we're being held, you know and we just have to surrender to it. Like, when you lay on the earth, you can literally, like, give all your problems to the earth, and let them just be extracted from the body, and find peace.
That is beautiful. I love that. And it's so true. I mean, our mother, our Mother Earth is here to hear, to be empathetic, to hear our the words from our soul, and to support us and to love us, and the resources are unlimited, right? And many times we say that, I can't get this done, or I don't know, but that's because we've disconnected from Mother Earth and all of her abundant resources when we reach out to others. And but that takes vulnerability when we say, I need help, I need, well, but that have this stigmatism, the stigma about health, about reaching out, helping, saying I need help. That is considered a weakness by many people, and it's beautiful to me. That is the opposite of weakness. That is power, when we say, hey, can you help me? And I'm here for you. That give and take. That's what Mother Earth is about. giving and receiving. Like when you lay down with her and she sends love through you and you feel it and you get it back and you take it and you bring it on here and send it to us. So it's a
Hmm.
beautiful, that this feminine energy of this circular energy, and what a blessing it is. So I don't even know what my point was, but that.
Well, I mean, to me, like the most intelligent thing to acknowledge is that we don't know anything. You know, it's like to be as a child and surrender to that innocence of like, whatever that intelligence is that brought us here is taking care of us. Instead of like it's all up to me and I have to figure it out, and that is daunting and terribly stress producing. Because we don't know.
Right. And I always think about how, we start, I don't remember where I read it, maybe in one of the Dalai Lama's books, about how we all started off as babies. And if we hadn't received the help then, which we received help as babies to get where we are now. And so it's part of the cycle of life to receive help. So,
Hmm.
and just being aware of that. So,
And we're still babies.
oh, we are. I know I'm a baby.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I love it. Yes, it's beautiful to be vulnerable, and then what you just said about not knowing. I mean, if we knew everything, what a boring life that would be.
Yeah, yeah. It's ego. It's arrogant posturing, and uh, just this, because we feel so disconnected and we feel so unsafe, we have to present ourselves like an expert, and it's so tedious. Like I'm so done with trying to do that, to play that game. I just rather uh, be okay with not knowing and not be ashamed of it.
Right. Yes, it is exhausting to try to keep up that facade of knowing everything and not needing help. I can do it all by myself and like, oh yes, I'm this strong woman that doesn't need anybody. Get out of my way. I mean, I'm a strong woman, yes, and I do need people because that is what helps me grow, and together we grow.
I'm going to send you a song. I wish I wrote it, but I didn't. It's from a Broadway show called Getting My Act Together and Taking It on the Road. It was an off Broadway show. And there's a song in it called Strong Woman Number. You're going to love it. I'll send it to you. I'll make a
Okay,
message.
yeah. Send it to me.
Yeah, yeah, it's really funny. Yeah,
Well, let's hear about your music. I know you have a song for us,
I
Tess. Can you tell
do.
us about that?
Yeah, it's called We Are the Voice, and it's kind of my vegan, all-purpose humanitarian anthem. And I wrote it because did you see the film Blackfish when it came out? It was
Yes.
about the mistreatment of the orca killer whale by SeaWorld. And I live in San Diego. And at the time that that movie came out, I was literally living right on Mission Bay, across from SeaWorld, impacted very much by the nightly fireworks that would go on, and wondering about the PTSD of the whales and the dolphins in captivity there, with that booming going on all summer long, every single night. Like during the year, I think they only do it on the weekends, but in the summertime, they do it every single night. And so that movie came out, and I was horrified. And so right after that, I became aware of a protest that was happening at SeaWorld. And I had never been to a protest in my life. And it was like 5 minutes from where I lived. And so I created a sign that said, "You want to know why? Go see Blackfish," with the times of the movies, because it was only playing in like two or three different art houses here in San Diego. And I went to stand with about 400 other people, as the place where cars were filing in to go to the parking lot, to pay $40 for parking, to go pay $70 a ticket to go see these animals in captivity. And so I'm standing there with my sign, and I was with my husband, and and he was kind of getting antsy, and so he left the line, And in 10 minutes, he comes back and he says, "You have to come with me." And I said, "Why?" He said, "They need you." I say, "Who needs me? Nobody knows me here." He said, "There's musicians. They're setting up. They don't have a singer. They need a voice." So I get like Aaron Brockovich. I'm handed a bullhorn, and start I start making up chants on the spot, and we're doing like call and response. I'm with the with with the bullhorn. I'm saying these things, and these 400 people are saying them back, and that was it. And then a few days later, a woman that I was an acquaintance with texted me, and she said the organizer of this event is wondering if you're going to be at the next event because we really need your voice. And her slogan was, I'd never heard before, but it's a vegan slogan: "We are the voice of the voiceless." And so I said, "Well, I don't know. I mean, it really wasn't fun for me to be at a protest. It's not in my nature. To me, I consider myself an advocate, not an activist. So, um, because I don't think shouting against something is really like the best use of our energy." And so I said, "Well, let me tune in and see if there's a specific message that Spirit wants to use this vessel to deliver." And I tuned in, and this song came through me. And uh, based on her slogan, "We are the voice of the voiceless." And so I went to this next protest, and I have the bullhorn again, and now I'm singing this song over and over and over again. But it was like 100 degrees outside, and all these people are in their cars with their windows rolled up and their air conditioning on, going into Park at SeaWorld. And I'm like, "Really, God, is this the highest use of me?" But anyway, I ended up recording it, and it's a very beautiful song. I'm very proud of it, and I love like the more people that can share it and that get the message out, because it's like the thing about music is that in 3-4 minutes you can cause people to feel differently that aren't going to sit down and watch one of the vegan activism films that are so confrontive and in your face. You know what I mean? It's like people that already know what's going to be there don't want to take 2 hours to watch a movie like that, but they may listen to a 3 or 4 minute song. So anyway, that's the story.
All right, that's beautiful. I love that story. I've been there in front of the places with my signs. So
Yeah. Okay. So here it is.
let us know if you can hear it. I know that people are watching. They're very quiet though. So
Okay. Okay. Here we go. Can you hear it?
I can hear it. Let me check. Go ahead.
We are the voice for those who have no choice. We are the eyes for those who don't yet see. We take a stand to wake the moral conscience, and we'll keep on till everyone is free. Man has not understood his role on earth. Every creature here has equal worth. If God hath breathed life into a soul, it has the right to live it safe and whole. Arrogant will to conquer fear and greed. Selfish, cruel denial, let 'em bleed. Control and domination through forced insemination. A gross abomination is our deed. We are the voice for those who have no choice. We are the eyes for those who don't yet see. We take a stand to wake the moral conscience, and we'll keep on till everyone is free. Listen up, fellow humans, to this plea. This world was made for more than you or me. Enslaved for your amusement, abused by your confusement. No living thing is your commodity. We've claimed their flesh for our own gain, turned blind and deaf to all their pain, and still we call ourselves humane. We are insane. We are insane. We are insane. We are the voice for those who have no choice. We are the eyes for those who don't yet see. We take a stand to wake the moral conscience, and we'll keep on till everyone is free. We are the voice. 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 This game of pretend must come to an end, and we'll keep on till everyone is free.
That is beautiful. That's a prayer in itself, Tess.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. So mainly I'm just like, I'm here and I'm available to serve. And so, if people would like to invite me to, come and talk and sing and share, keynote concerts or private events or whatever it is. That's really what I'm here for.
Well, how do people get a hold of you, Tess?
I think the easiest way really is via my Facebook Messenger. So I put that where I put my name. I also put the link up there.
Okay, and then your songs are on YouTube?
My songs are on YouTube, on Spotify, on Apple Music, all the platforms, all the
And what
places.
would people find you? Tess Kempner, or is there something else they need to put in there?
I just go by Tess, but there's several of them, so you kind of have to look for the little icon of my picture and go, oh yeah, that's her. That's the
Tess with
one.
one S.
Yeah, Tess with one S. Yeah.
Because I was looking for you with two S's, and I thought, what is going on? I need to find that great song. The message to the people. I know they're all great, but that's the one we sing, is the message to the people that we attempt to drum to and everything. Well, my
That's great.
boyfriend, hopefully he's not listening because he's a drummer. He wouldn't say I attempt to do it. I do it.
I love that. That's so good. Yeah.
Yes, I mean your music is so powerful. I mean it comes from your heart, and you can feel that energy from your music.
Thank you.
And so, are your parents, have they passed on, Tess?
Yeah, yeah. My
And
dad died in 1999, so quite a long time ago, and my mother 4.5 years ago. I took care of her for the last 6.5 years of her life. Yeah.
wow, and what did she think about who you've become? What did they I mean, that must have been amazing for them to see.
Well, I mean, certainly, my mother in particular, because my dad was much older when he had me, so he kind of was an old man and tired, and but my mother was very, very proud of me, and at the same time, the needy little girl in her was like, "What about me? What about me?" It's like you sing about the Holocaust, you sing about this, and I'm the Holocaust, and so it was an interesting sort of thing to like. I wrote her a song. I wrote her a song. I wrote like 3 songs for my mother, and she's like, "This is a beautiful song, but this song is for the world." I'm like, but it's inspired by you, mom. Like everything is micro and macro, you know what I mean? And so it's like the personal becomes the universal, and that's what makes it relatable to other people. But my mother was definitely my muse. So yeah, of course she thought I was brilliant, but all mothers kids are brilliant.
Right. Well, here's a nice comment here from Nathan Blackberry. God bless. That's
God
beautiful.
bless. Thank you, Nathan. You too.
Yes.
Yay.
And so, do you? I mean, do you sing at synagogues now, Tess, or do you have a spiritual? Or you do you go on? I mean, is there like a synagogue that you go to, or are you more out there and everywhere?
I'm more out there everywhere. I mean, my message, I think, is a universal message, and so a lot of New Thought churches, Science of Mind, those kind of places often are opportunities for me as well. So yeah. Mhm.
Right. Well, yeah, definitely. And you know what? If you ever come into the Atlanta area, you'll have to come and sing for us
I would love that. I would
because we would love it too.
We can
Because
maybe arrange it on purpose.
yeah, definitely we can. You know, at any time we already have a fan club here, so
That's nice.
come on out. But yeah, that the sometimes well, sometimes people feel really sad about God and spirituality. I mean, vegans do, and saying, well, there is no God because God, if God is this beautiful God, or, how could God allow this? What would you say to that person, Tess?
Well, number one, I would say that this world is a mystery, and we have to make peace with the mystery and trust the intelligence rather than argue with it. And and second, I would say, if anybody knows anything about Abraham Hicks, the teachings of Abraham Hicks, Abraham would talk about how contrast gives birth to desire. So oftentimes, that which we don't want helps us to define ourselves. It's like, well, I'm not going to be like that. I'm going to be like this. And so we find our own integrity and, healthy righteousness. I don't mean like the obnoxious, holier than thou type righteousness, but because I realized just a few days ago, I think I was telling you this before we got on here, was that I realized that in my well-meaning intention, that I can be divisive. I can be, so it's like we're here about the oneness, and if we hold ourselves as separate and better than because we're making a higher moral choice than somebody else, then we're missing the point that all is well on earth as it is in heaven, and that God created all of us to play our parts perfectly, and without people or souls willing to portray what we would consider to be the darkness in our lives, then we wouldn't know ourselves as the light. So our job is to be the light, no matter what, be the light in the darkness, and that's all we really can be responsible for. Is who am I being? That's a question that I ask myself a lot. Who am I being in the face of this or that or the other thing? It's a beautiful question, a powerful question. Do I like who I'm being? Am I in alignment with my own conscience and my own ethics?
Well, that's a very good question to ask ourselves in the morning and throughout the day. I mean, that self-awareness, like, it's what I'm doing. Is it helpful for my body, for my spirit, right?
Mhm, mhm,
So
mhm.
that's something, especially as we're coming, as we're in this new year now, the mindfulness of looking at ourselves with compassion and these questions to ignite growth and to
Yeah.
shift us more in alignment with who we are.
Mhm. Yeah.
So I have a question. So I mean, what animal, is there an animal that you really feel connected to, or that you would say that this animal represents Tess, or maybe this animal represents this part of Tess, and this animal represents this part of Tess?
Well, I definitely relate to the owl, and
I was
as
going to say that.
in fact, I've got my little owl earrings
Oh,
fun today. And I said before I'm a triple Gemini, but I also have a Leo rising, and so I relate to the lion and the like the sort of the power of presence and roar, using the voice for impact. So I would say
That
those two.
well, that's very interesting. Yes, because I was thinking owl, but I mean, I was feeling it from you. So, and
Yeah.
then and then your hair is like a lion's mane, beautiful, and your voice, yes, is so powerful, like the lion, and majestic.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
I love it. Yeah.
Yeah. I also do a lot of primal emotional release work with people. So it's like I'll create a safe container for people to be able to move the rage and the grief out of their bodies. And so oftentimes people are shy to express themselves at that level. So I do a lot of demonstrating, of roaring, like and pounding on things and stuff to because we got to get that out, otherwise it makes us sick. It's like babies when they're upset, they scream and they cry until their need is addressed, and then they go back to being peaceful. And we have been conditioned to suppress all of that, and that becomes the source of our cancer and our ulcers and our migraines and all these other things. But if we allow that energy to move, then we can return to a kind of homeostasis and be like, oh, I feel
I love it. I know, and that's the acceptance of all feelings, you know. And we did the releasing ceremony at church the other night, and then I thought, it started making me think, should I mean, say I'm going to release anger, but then anger is serving a purpose. So I just came to the thing. It was like, I'm going to release whatever is meant to be released, because thinking about it so much, I don't know for sure what needs to be released, but the universe knows what needs to move out, right? So I'll leave that up to the universe, to Mother Earth, to nature, to God, to allow what needs to go, and I'll sit here and in the discovery process of it.
Yeah, and ultimately I think it's about us consciously choosing to make peace with all of it. It's like we came here for the human experience, and the human experience is not all, rosy and harmonious. We have dissonance and we have discord, and we need to embrace it. It's like, okay, I'm angry right now, instead of it's like we do violence to ourselves when we try to reject a way that we're being, like we compound it by being angry at ourselves for being angry, or being angry with ourselves, or feeling guilty for being angry, or judging ourselves or anything like that. And it's like, okay, I'm judging right now, okay, I'm angry right now, okay, I'm grieving right now, and it's all good, it's all divine, it's all sacred, really.
Yes, it's the human experience, like you were saying. That's,
Mhm.
I mean, once someone can accept I mean, being human is all these parts, all these different emotions, and I mean, that's who we are.
Right.
Why am I angry? Because I'm a human being. That's part of who I am.
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah. So own it, and it's like give it its expression when it arises, rather than pushing it down. You know.
Right. Well, this is beautiful, and I see that we've come to the end of our time, and I did see a lot of people watching, so we got a lot of I see a lot of thumbs up while we were speaking, people really resonating with what we said. So if you're watching on the replay, well, let me also tell you this, please subscribe. But if you're watching on the replay, make sure that you reach out to Tess, and she said on Facebook. And also don't forget to go to www.all-creatures.org to check out the hundreds of thousands of pages of free resources updated daily, 7 days a week without break, or sign up for our weekly newsletter. And be sure to search vegan churches on our site to find vegan faith based resources near you. And if you know of a resource not on our list, please reach out to our executive director, Tams, at all-creatures.org, because again, we are a faith based community and we want to serve you to get into that spiritual connection with this amazing light of love that that is radiating to you and from you and wants to just engulf you in light and love like Tess and I have been
Amen.
talking about.
Amen.
So I feel very inspired after talking with you, Tess. And tell everybody, tell us again where they can find you on the musical places and the social media.
Well, I'm on all the music platforms, though, whatever your favorite one is or that you subscribe to, you can just look for TE. I go use TES periods. You can use the period, not use the period, but don't put two S's in. So it's test rhymes with yes, like yes with a T, and say yes to test. And then social media, you can also find me Facebook, Instagram. Yeah, I'm pretty accessible.
Well, wonderful. I feel very filled with light after this talk and grounded to Mother Earth because I can feel your connection to our Mother.
Thank
So,
you.
thank you very much, Tess, and everyone for watching. And let us know your comments on the replay and just sending light and love to everyone. Thank you.
My pleasure to be here. Thank you.
All right. Bye bye, everybody.
Take care.